Mic should be good, although I
No,
don't hear
hello?
myself. No, no
Hello?
mics. Again?
Now?
Okay. All right, well, welcome back this evening and let's go ahead and get this party started. So, Suzanne.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem Case,
Here.
Councilmember Alfieri,
Here.
Councilmember Nakai,
Here.
Councilmember Neal,
Here.
Councilmember Zuluaga.
Here. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. America, we love you.
All right, we're going to start this evening with Suzanne presenting
I was
our
gonna
election
say,
results.
Do we have mics?
Still, yes.
No, we
Mine's
don't.
working. Not working now.
No,
No, none of
I
them.
had it, but it's not working anymore.
I have two.
That's because you're important.
Jeff, is your mic working?
Now it is.
Test,
Hello?
test, test. Test, test.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Mayor?
I can
Test.
hear you.
I'm just going to, first of all, let me start with, did you know we had an election this week? It was very exciting. We had a very, very exciting week. Everyone knows the results. I don't need to go through them in detail with you. They've been plastered all over the media, all over social media. Everyone has them. But just a couple of little things I wanted to talk about with the election was it was a successful election. We had some interesting things happen during this election that I wanted to share with you that some of you may not even know happened. We lost power on election day for 4 hours. If you will recall, council will recall, and the citizens will recall, we had a very, very windy day on Tuesday. We had a tree come down on our power lines, and this side of the building from council chambers all the way to that way, we had no power. Our election judges, who you will meet next council meeting they'll all be here to be introduced and council can thank them personally, are troopers. We brought in work lights. We brought in flashlights. We ran extension cords from here all the way to the side of the building that was working. And they sat here and just continued. We lost 1 hour of work because it took us an hour to get the lights set up and the flashlights and everything, but they just kept plugging away. No complaints, nothing. And I think Michael was here. Our finance director was here. We were all pulling together and the judges just were phenomenal. I can't wait to introduce them to you next week. One of them is here in the audience. I saw Terry Baldwin. There she is. So we have one of them here, but they were phenomenal. So in 2020, we received 22,250 ballots back. In this year, 2022, we received 2,503 ballots. We received 50.1% ballots back from the voters. And so that was very exciting. I'd like to thank Grace Johnson because she continually did pushes on social media. We're at 32%, come on and vote. We're at 42%, come on and vote. The last 45 minutes of the election, she did her final push and said, come on. And she did a countdown, the clock, showing the countdown till 7 o'clock. You still could bring your ballots in. It was so exciting. We had a line out the door from about 5:45 to about 7 o'clock, a line out the door. It was all hands on deck. The city manager was downstairs telling people where to put their ballots, answering questions. We had people coming in. Why didn't I get my ballot? The biggest question we had this year was people not understanding the boundaries of where you need to live in order to vote in the election. We had to explain that to many, many citizens. but my address says Woodland Park. How come I didn't get a ballot? We had a map, we'd show them. It was just all hands on deck. We had people registering to vote at 6:30 PM because you were allowed to vote, register to vote on the same day as Election Day, as per Colorado State statute. We had that occurring. It was just jam-packed in here like I've never seen it before. And it was very, very exciting. The vibe was very exciting, right? The power outage was interesting, but as a lot of the public knows and the council knows, prior to when the ballots were first sent out, there was a little mishap of 77 ballots that got sent out to minors that pre-registered to vote when they get their driver's licenses. The county we worked closely with the county. We notified all of those 77 voters. And I am so proud to say we flagged them in our voting system. Not one of those ballots was voted. Every single one of those 77 kids and their families did the right thing. No one tried to vote it, nothing. And so I'm extremely proud of our community, our young people, and the parents of the young people, that nothing like that occurred. And so that just made me feel very, very, have a lot of pride in the community. And, a mistake was made. No one took advantage of it.
Excellent.
Not that they could have. We also had 2 watchers. We had a gentleman that came and watched the election from about 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, and he stayed until 8:30 at night. So he was here with us for almost 12 hours, this gentleman. He sat in the back corner there on a metal chair and watched the entire process as the judges processed all the votes and everything. And he was so impressed. He was with us when the lights went out. He was with us and saw what the judges continued to do and how they continued to work. And then we had another watcher as well. But we had 8 election judges. As I said, I'll be very, very proud to introduce to you all on April 21st. Our lead election judge, all of you know, is Shirley Douthit. She is an expert. This is my 4th election that I've done with her as the lead judge, and she knows how to do an election. And just that's pretty much the recap I wanted to give you, just of a couple of little things that I didn't know if all of you knew about the power outage. And I wanted to make sure you knew about the 77 voters not voting. So that's just the recap. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good recap. All right, moving on. We have a farewell and an outgoing statement by Councilmember Alfieri.
Thank you. So the tradition up here is for outgoing council members to say a few words about their term in office as well as their fellow council members. I think most of us know that's probably a really bad idea in this case. The tradition is also for fellow council members to say a few words about outgoing council members as well as possibly staff. The whole time I've sat up here, I have never peddled any BS, and to the point of being directly and brutally honest that a lot of people didn't like it. So with that said, for those of you that might have reconciled yourself to force a few fake empty words of thanks or appreciation, I would simply ask that you don't. They wouldn't be for my benefit anyways, only for your own, to show you're far more gracious than you actually are and far less disagreeable and hateful than you really are. So please save us all the dog and pony show. For those of you that might actually have a few honest, genuine words of gratitude, thank you. But the nicest thing you can do for me at this point is to simply allow us to blow through this point of the meeting and immediately move on to the oath of office for the new council members so that I can officially and finally be released from this hellacious cesspool. And with that, I'm done.
All right. Well, you don't have to wait for the oaths if you don't want to. You're welcome to leave.
Mhm. I will serve out the term till the new one is appointed.
Okay. So
I'll
we're
just
gonna
say
move
thank you for your service.
on. All right. Suzanne, are you ready to administer oath?
Yes, it's my pleasure this evening to administer the first oath of office I'd like to administer is to Mayor LaBarre. So if you'd please join me. I don't know if you want, Peter can join you as well. Please raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Hillary LaBarre, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Colorado the charter and ordinances of the city of Woodland Park, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of mayor upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. And you may be seated in the same exact spot.
Congratulations, Hillary.
Thank you. Would you like me just to continue on? Yeah. Again, it is my honor and my privilege to administer the oath of office to Kelly Case. You have your little doggy?
I don't. He sheds too much.
You would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kelly Case. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Colorado, the charter and ordinances of the city of Woodland Park, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne.
And you can sit in the same seat.
Thank you.
Again, it's my honor and privilege to present the oath of office to Catherine McCall. Please join me. And if you would like someone to join you up here. I think that's you, Michael.
He's good. Peter's good. Oh, that's great.
Nice jacket.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Catherine McCall, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Colorado, the charter and ordinances of the city of Woodland Park, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. Thank you, ma'am, and you can take the same seat. Once again, it's my honor and privilege to administer the oath of office to David Ott.
This is my wife Kendall.
We knew everybody else. I didn't know. Nice to meet you. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, David Ott,
I do not
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of the
Constitution
United
of
States
the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of Woodland Park,
that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of council member
of council member
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. I got to that. You don't get to sit in the audience now.
Uh-oh.
Take it back up there.
He gets a hot seat.
The rest, okay, and we're gonna be putting a name tag up there for you. You're gonna take your seat up there. And finally, but not, it's last but not least, I have the privilege and honor of administering the oath of office to Frank Connors. Frank, do you want to introduce this lovely lady?
My wife Jenny.
Okay. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Frank Connors,
I, Frank Connors,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of Woodland Park,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of council member
of council member
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, sir. Getting a seat up there for you. You might, for now, if you wouldn't mind just sitting. We're gonna move everyone. Oh, everybody's
Yeah.
moving. No, 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 Frank, up.
I know, I'm just trying to get some stuff.
So
Yeah. they're good.
congratulations and welcome to the new city council.
Frank goes here. Welcome.
Mayor.
Mayor, Mayor.
You said it already.
Welcome to council.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exciting to be here. Think about that.
It's great to see a full council.
It is, isn't it? It's been a while.
We haven't seen all those chairs filled in a long while.
Yeah. Okay.
Way to
Yeah,
go.
we're not doing electronic voting
Voting
tonight,
manually
so, no, so you don't need to worry about it unless you don't have the agenda printed, so, okay. All right. For the new council, if either of you would like to say anything, you're welcome to, or if you're ready to carry on, we'll carry on. So,
Thank you.
I'd
okay,
just like to say thank you to the citizens. It's a pretty crazy election and I'm glad to be here and I hope to serve you well.
very good. All right, next on the agenda item is selection of Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll go ahead and let Suzanne either present that or if council wants to have discussion.
This requires a council discussion and it will require a council vote. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Council? See, I see Rusty hitting his mic, so.
Well, I'll go ahead and start with a recommendation that we maintain the Mayor Pro Tem. She has, I guess, a little bit of the seniority would be one reason. Respect for her knowledge of our financials, and you have served us with a great amount of information that has been very useful, especially going through the budget cycle. I, for one, I've been here 2 years. Robert has been here for 2 years. I'm still learning. So I would like to see, I would endorse the senior person staying on as the new people and myself continue our learning curve. That's just my discussion points.
Sure. Council, anything further? No?
Wholeheartedly agree with Rusty.
Okay. New council,
Thank you.
it's your opportunity to get into discussion if you want to. Okay.
I'm good,
All
Mayor.
right.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion then?
I'll make a motion to appoint Kelly Case as the Mayor Pro Tem.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Very good. Suzanne?
Thank you. Case,
Abstain.
Connors,
Yes.
Labar,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Neal,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Zulawaga.
No.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-1 with one abstain.
Thank you, council.
I don't want to curse us, but.
Thank you, everyone.
I don't want to curse us, but we're flying through. This is.
So, Hillary.
So, okay, moving on to item F. We have a thank you and farewell to our interim police chief, Steve Hasler. And our city manager is going to present.
I got you one more. So I have the bittersweet privilege tonight of saying goodbye to a wonderful man, Steve Hasler, our interim police chief, and welcoming in another wonderful man, our Chief Deisler. But for the moment, I want to embarrass Chief Hasler a great deal. And just thank him for 9-10 months of service that only felt like 9-10 years of service, I'm guessing. You know, I have so much enjoyed Steve on a great number of levels. He's a wonderful, lighthearted guy. He's brought exactly what the city of Woodland Park needed at the time. We had a heck of a year last year with our police department, as many of you know. Pretty traumatic year. I was in my first year here in the city last year and was having a pretty difficult time. And then Steve arrived on the scene and started work, and life, no joke, very much started getting better very quickly. Steve brought stability, he brought professionalism, he brought a new energy, he brought humor to our police department. And I've spoken with several of our police officers who just don't have enough kind words to say for Steve. I care so much for this man, so much because of the love he brought to our department. And I think most folks would agree that things turned around at that point. Is that fair to say? All right. So one of our top jobs is to take care of our employees, and Steve did that in just the best way possible. So Steve, thank you. I wanted to present you with the City Challenge coin. This is for you, sir. And wanted to give you a few moments, or as long as you like, to share any words with us. Well, thank you. I'll go to the podium. Yes, I'll go.
Do whatever you want.
Have something to hide behind.
She's not looking good. There you go. They're good?
Thank you so much. Well, firstly, I'd like to congratulate the council. And just tell you guys that 10 months ago in July, I never realized then how hard it would be now to leave.
Don't.
Oh, no. Here we go.
So a few thanks. Firstly, I'd like to thank the management team who I've worked with over the last 10 months, and especially to Michael. You have a phenomenal city manager.
Yes, sir.
I've been a police chief for 28 years. I've worked for lots of city managers, and I would certainly put Michael at the top of the list. Please keep him. He's a wonderful man. Mostly, I like to say thanks to the PD. We had a lot of challenges. We've done a lot of wonderful work over the last 10 months. And I want to say we, it's because we did it as a team. So I'm accepting this, but I accept it on behalf of the team. We're at a place now where I'm happy we're at. And now Chris is coming in, and I've had lots of chats with Chris about the vision, his vision. So I know I leave the city and the PD better than I found it, which is a good thing. But I do know it's got a wonderful future with your new chief. So I just want to thank you for the honor of serving the city. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are you sure you want to go? Really?
Well, Steve, before you leave, I just want to say, from council's perspective, thank you so very much. You have a heart of gold. We got to understand your British humor and your accent. And really, you've been such a blessing. And just to see the countenance in the police department change so quickly. I mean, yes, Michael's got great leadership, but you do too. And thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you so much.
So Steve, I have one quick thing. Don't forget to get your pot pie on the way out of town. No.
Steve, thank you for all you are and all you have done. You will be sorely missed, and I'm not kidding when I say, if you really don't want to go. Just saying, I'm just putting a bug in his ear. It's been just a great experience, and I've enjoyed you, and good luck to you. Stay in touch. Thank you.
Anybody else before I jump in?
You're welcome to.
Oh, y'all are important ones, not me.
Who are you?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of odd that this is coming out of sequence, but if you'll give me a second, may I? Come on up, Chief Hassler.
Stop singing.
I challenge you to tell them one time I sing so far. Okay. Well, it's kind of odd this is coming out of sequence because I'll do a little bit more talking in just a few minutes, but I have an opportunity here to say some words about this man too, and I think I'll echo a lot of what was already said. You and I have had some talks from afar, even before I got here, and kind of got a feel for what was what. And it became very apparent to me that your love and affection for this amazing group was very apparent. And I knew going in that there were going to be challenges and hurdles, and we knew that. But we're going to do it. But the reason why we are where we are right now is because of where you've brought this agency over the last 9 or 10 months. I've lost track. You probably have to. And you know, whenever we climb the ladder to chief, we oftentimes get left behind in the awards department because we're usually giving out the awards and we're not always getting them. But I was able to pull some strings from some folks that I knew back in Florida. So I've got something I'd like to give you. But if it's appropriate, Mr. Manager, I'd like to invite some of the folks from the department up here with me so that we can present this to you as a group, because after all, that is the spirit by which we come. So any of you who I put on the spot who would like to join me up here to do this presentation, and there are a bunch of you, feel free to come on up while I get this ready. I know that The first thing that you're gonna want is your door badge in case you forget where your office is. You can stick this on your door at home. So there's your name tag from the PD, just a small token there. Of course, the next thing that I know you're dying to get a hold of is your retire credentials, so you can carry that gun off duty and concealed. So there's your retirement credentials. Believe it or not, it's actually got my signature on it already, so you can take that on behalf of me. Now, for the important part. As I was mentioning to you, we've got something we'd like to present to you as a group. And this is a plaque that, thank you, sir, that I was able to have made to present to you. And I hope that you find it representative of what we're trying to do here with you. I just like to read this so that everybody can hear the inscription. Presented to Chief Steve Hassler in recognition of and appreciation for your commitment and dedication to the Woodland Park Police Department while serving as the interim chief of police during a time when the agency needed you most. Your steadfast leadership and willingness to help the department at the sacrifice of your own retirement years and personal attention to your family are unmatched and will not be forgotten. Your guidance helped to resurrect careers and chart a course in a positive direction for the members of the department. You are to be commended for your efforts and selflessness. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to your craft with our sincere gratitude. Dated today. Well done, my friend. Thank you very much. So again, let the record reflect that even I give awards to chiefs.
Thanks so much. I'm at a loss for words, so all I can say is thanks so much. Appreciate it. Cheers. Cheers and toodles.
It's great. So good. Check in, check in. Thank you all. All right, so I guess I'm up next again. And so by that same token, we tearfully see Steve off into the sunset. We also welcome in new blood, new energy, new ideas into the fold, and we're very excited about that as well. You have now met Chief Deisler. Chris Deisler is joining us from the city of Winter Springs, Florida, where he spent 30 years working his way up from a 19-year-old rookie cop to being police chief. Chris is among the more unique folks I know, in that he's exercised, I might say, extreme diligence in understanding what he was getting into here. So he can't use that as an excuse. But Chris has had his eye on Woodland Park for quite some time, and has shown himself over many times in his short tenure already that he is very happy to be here and excited to get started. He's actually in week 2, but this is kind of more of the formality to welcome him in with a public oath of office. But we are very excited to have him. He's got some great ideas that he's already working on. And if you haven't talked to him already, chances are you will be in the coming months. So with that, I would like to welcome up our new chief, Chris Deisler, and our city clerk, deputy city manager, to administer the oath of office.
She will. She's looking at dear God, no.
No, please do.
Yeah, no idea how hard this is gonna be like this.
I, Chris Deisler, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Colorado, the Charter and ordinances of the city of Woodland Park, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of Chief of Police. Turn my back to you. Congratulations, sir.
In your right mind, that's good.
Well, ask me to sit. All right, well, it's hard to follow Chief Hassler. As you can imagine, he's done an amazing job and I'm grateful knowing him. First, I'd like to say honorable mayor, members of council, Mr. Manager, city staff, elected officials in the audience tonight, members of the Woodland Park City community, and most importantly, those members of the Woodland Park Police Department family seated in and around the back of the room. On behalf of my wife Keely, our daughter Keaton, who are both sitting there probably hiding right now, I would just like to say we are thrilled beyond measure to be here. For those of you who do not know me or perhaps want to hear the story again because you have nothing better to do, I will tell you that I am a second-generation law enforcement officer. I started as the city manager, managed at the age of 19. I followed my father. My father did 44 years in big city organizations, the city of Orlando, and then Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida. I was the small town cop. So I grew up understanding the nuances of the small towns and kind of how they differ from large metropolitan areas. As you may know, or you may not know, I started this journey back in November, right after Thanksgiving. And basically, the process evolved like this. My wife and I had often wondered what our next journey was going to be in my law enforcement career. As I'm sure Steve Hassler can certainly understand, your career flies by and you don't realize how quickly it will go. At the age of 19, I never realized that the year 2022 would come so quickly, but it did. And it became apparent that it was going to be time for me to leave the law enforcement family that I knew and loved from literally day one. So, my friend, I get it. We came to an agreement, and basically my wife said, listen, if you think the time is right to make that long anticipated move to the mountains that we had oftentimes talked about, start looking for something and see what you can find. Contrary to most belief, most Floridians do not desire to retire in Florida. I personally, it's true. You know, I can even remember when I was a kid, when you would go on vacations and you would tell people you were from Orlando, you were kind of like an instant star in the neighborhood. But in reality, school represented nothing more than responsibility in school and then a full-time job. So it was never a vacation time for us. But certainly you can understand how we look at this area of the country and marvel at it much the way you might aspire Central Florida. So we had looked afar, we had taken vacations out this direction and essentially fell in love with it. I will tell you that the lack of humidity is an adjustment. Right now, I'm actually embarrassed to say I'm looking for a bottle of water, but I probably will be. But we decided to embark on the next chapter. And once I was able to swallow the pill of leaving the City of Winter Springs Police Department and a group of absolutely fantastic officers and civilian staff, we got to looking out what was next. Your ad was the first one I found in the state of Colorado. This was the first one I found, and I will tell you that the process has been nothing but fantastic. You have an amazing staff. You know this already. I have grown to know most of them as we've gone along. I know that Amy is not here tonight, but I will tell you that between the two of us, we were able to work small miracles from 1,800 miles away to get the process done and the hiring done. They are phenomenal. So please understand that we have a great team. So then I'm sure you can probably imagine the next question I asked was, why does the City of Woodland Park Police Department need a chief of police? We'll save all of the discussions that we'll probably have at a later time. But when I started to do my homework on the city's police department, it became very apparent to me in quick fashion that I humbly believed I had what it took to help them. So I applied and we started the journey. And you will say sometimes that I might not be in my right mind, although I'm left-handed, because quote, who would run to this at a 30-year benchmark in their career when they're looking for chapter 2 and maybe trying to slow down a bit? Well, I did. And I took it on willingly. I ran toward it, not away from it. If I need to leave you with any other point of contention there, I will tell you, I think you'll no doubt my intentions were pure from day one. Certainly, I knew there were going to be challenges, and that's fine. Some of you I've interacted with during the process, and I think you will probably find that what you saw during that interview, hopefully you found to be pretty well exactly what you saw. There's times that I think some of us and many of them along the back of the room, some folks who I've spoken to from afar. I've got several people in this room who I won't name directly, but they know who they are, who were willing to entertain me through emails and phone calls from nearly 2,000 miles away to basically determine if I could fit here and help. That was no brainer. It became pretty obvious that I could do a good job here for you all if I was afforded the opportunity. And we embarked on the journey. And I know that along the way that there were perhaps some skeptics. And I understand that. I think I tried to explain to most of you, I remember being the cop in his second year of his career, getting the new chief from out of state. I remember what that was like. But I also remember what the result was. And I simply asked all of you, specifically those who I spoke to most directly, to just give me a shot and see where we were going to be able to go. I'm happy to report that almost at the end of 2 weeks, no one has fled the building. Thank you, sir. Fled the building with their hair on fire, nor have we had anyone leave in a haste, including me. And that's fantastic. I will tell you, as Chief Hassler probably found very quickly, this is absolutely a fantastic bunch of folks, without a question. Every bit of that they deserve, and then some. Because I am going to tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, members of the community, those of you here, your police department's where it's at because they carried it. And they didn't have to, but they did. And I knew that that type of environment was going to breed success. Not because I want it, and I do, but because they do. I can work with that. Now, Shannon and I have had some discussions today that drove me to the edge of the cliff, but we'll get there. But the fact of the matter is, we are combined in our resolve to forge the next chapter together. Decision-making and the selection of a chief of police is the biggest entrustment that the city can make. You have entrusted me in ways many people aspire to be trusted with, few ever get the opportunity. I'm lucky now to serve as a chief for my second career term, and that's an absolute honor that I do not take lightly. I do not take it for granted, and I will provide services to all of you in a manner that you have become accustomed, and will find as we move later on, we'll go even higher than those that you have seen. So thank you for sticking it in. Stand behind us. We will stand behind you. As we move forward together, we're going to do some pretty amazing things. Let the process play out. But I want to thank Mr. Lawson, because I know this was not an easy decision for him for many of his own personal reasons. And I get that to the level that I can understand it. The set of factors that he faced when he made this decision, quite honestly, if you question where his motivations are, would have forced a lesser manager out the door. I say that for a reason. And the reason I say that is because I knew that if he was putting that level of dedication and scrutiny behind the person he entrusted with this position, that I was going to have the level of support I needed to be successful if I was selected. That was easy for me now, because I know that the level of care that the city manager has put for all of you is going to make it easier for us to be successful in the future. You all understand that, right? That's a truth. So a personal thank you to you. My last name is Deisler. That is the only German thing about me. I'm Italian, so I will talk forever. Now, do not force me to be the guy who keeps us here till midnight. So on that note, I'm going to get away from the mic, but I will say again, thank you all for your involvement. Thank you for your trust in me. We're going to do some great things. Sit back and watch, but it's going to be a fun time. I thank you all again. To my wife and my daughter, Keaton, they are the reason why I'm able to do what I do as humbly as I would like to say, as well as we do it. They take a lot of stuff that they don't need to shoulder, but to be successful, I have to have a good solid foundation, and they are unquestionably the best I could ask for. So thank you very much. Community, thank you very much for being here. I'll get away now. And I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Chief Deisler, I just have one question for you. Chief Deisler,
I
can
will
you?
be here at midnight.
No, just a yes or no answer. Just a yes or
I'm
no
off the
answer.
hook.
Is being Italian, is that a given that you can cook?
You answer that question.
Yes.
Welcome to you all.
All right, very good. And now, this is why the audience is packed this evening. It's not because of us, it's because it's the Citizens Academy graduation. And Grace is going to be the presenter for that.
I don't know how I'm supposed to top all of that, but good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm really excited to present to you the graduates of the winter 2022 Citizens Academy. I do have a very short presentation, as most of you have already seen it before, or you have graduated from it. The majority of council now has been through the Citizens Academy, which is awesome. So I'll keep it short and sweet, and then we'll get to the graduation. But for those of you who in the audience who may not know, the Citizens Academy is an annual 7-week program. We do it twice a year, and we invite the community to apply. And 25 people are selected, and they go through every Monday for 3 hours. They hang out with me and directors and other staff and get to learn all about how local government works. And we go through every department. They get tours, they get Q&A sessions and hands-on activities. So first of all, I want to thank our sponsors. Next slide, Rob. I want to thank our sponsors, the Woodland Fitness, Charis Bible College, Wilson Williams LLP, and Core Electric Co-op. They all provided food for some of the sessions, which was awesome, because 3 hours is a long time to hang out without eating. So thank you very much to them. And then I did want to say thank you to directors and staff. This, as you all know, we are short-staffed, and it does take a lot from the directors to take time out of their busy schedules to talk to directly to the citizens and answer their questions. So, and I also got a note I want to share with you from one of our graduates tonight, and she handed it to me right before this meeting. So I just wanted to share that with you. It says, "Dear Grace, I want to express my sincere gratitude and joy for the privilege of attending the Woodland Park Citizens Academy. Every class blew me away. The intricacies of running a city are much more complex and critical than I realized. Woodland Park takes time and care to strategically plan our structure. I am especially," this is underlined, "I am especially impressed by the directors of each department. They are dedicated to excellent, and it shows. Thank you so much." So I just wanted to share that with you, and just, I'm really grateful to all the directors. Next slide. So I just wanted to point out a couple of highlights, and that's Elizabeth actually right there. One of the things we did this time was a planning activity. So everyone got to act as the developer and develop a parcel of land with zoning and all that good stuff in mind. So they all had really fun, interesting ideas for what we should do with each parcel. We also did a budget activity, so they got to pretend to be all of you, and every group was split up into either leaders of stakeholder groups or a council member, and they all had to make their case for the project that they wanted to pass, and there was a budget, $100,000 surplus. They all had to decide how to spend it. So it's really interesting that they get that perspective of what you guys all do up here. They also got tours of the water and wastewater treatment plant, where our water comes from, where it goes, and the elaborate water management that happens in our public works department, utilities department. And then they got a fleet tour. So they got to go through the fleet shop, play on all the heavy machinery. Everyone loves that. They also got a tour of the aquatic center and a demonstration of a water rescue by our awesome lifeguards. And then they also got a tour of the police department, and they got to meet our new chief, and they heard from Sergeant Huber and Detective Everhart, Bev and Erica, victim advocacy. So that was really, really neat for them. And then for what's next, we did decide this year to do 2 Citizens Academies. So the next one will be in the fall. I don't have a date yet, but we're looking at September. And then we're also from this academy and the last academy, I had several requests to keep everyone in contact, to keep all of the alumni, so to speak, in touch with each other. So we're looking at different ways we might do that. And then we're also looking at providing a way for the citizens to access all the wonderful information that's covered in these classes, and they'll be able to do that online, hopefully. So we're looking at how to do that. And that is all I have for you, but I just want to say that this was a really awesome group, another really, really fun, engaged group. Everyone had questions on questions on questions, and they were just eager and, to give over 21 hours of your time just to learn about how your local government works, and to be a more engaged citizen is a really honorable thing to do. So just a round of applause for them right now, if we could. So without further ado, I will, when I call your name, take your certificate, and if you wouldn't mind joining me in front of the dais to get a photo, a class photo. Don't roll your eyes at me. And so when I call your name, just head right up in front there. So first is Amber Jacobs. Quietly. Andrew Papadakis. Bernie Vale. Blaise Gabrielle. Cassandra Bacharach. Christine Walker. Here. Danuta Brown. David Ott. Elizabeth Ann Abrams. Frank Connors. Galen Abrams. Janice Lair. Jeff Cahill. Kathleen Noble. She's here.
We get to clap for her.
Lee Brown. Linda Barnes. Matt Hayes. Melissa Absher. Nancy Hartsfield. Nancy Morgan. Rob Davidson. Robert Zuluaga. Sarah Swart. Stephen Shepherd. I don't think he's here. Tara Gardy. And that's it. So one more final round of applause for these guys. Thank you so much.
Mayor, would you like to come down? We'll get it with you, Grace, and the team. We have 2 rows. Yeah, we need 2 rows.
Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Rob.
Give them a chance. Just covering it up. All right, that was fun.
That was fun. That was the easy part. Now we're on to some more easy stuff for this evening, at least, thankfully. So. Okay, we're on to 4 additions, deletions, or corrections to agenda, having none. Moving on to 5, consent calendar, and we do have something that Suzanne's going to present.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, we have a set of minutes. We have the approval of the minutes from the March 17th City Council meeting with one little correction that I need to make on Ordinance 1420. The motion is there, but the motion maker and second is not there. So I just have to add to ordinance number 1420's motion. Nakai made the motion. It was seconded by Alfieri and it carried 6-0.
Very good. Council, any questions, comments about that? Nope. All right. Motion?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Connors,
Press it at the top hard.
There you go.
Yes.
Labar,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Zulawaga,
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Very good. Now we're on to item number 6, which is public comment on items not on the agenda. And I know that Suzanne had one person sign up ahead of time.
I had one ahead of time and I have one signed up.
Okay,
If Nancy Stannard, is she here in the audience? I had her sign up a few weeks ago to speak tonight. Are you here with us?
No, she's not.
She's not.
Okay,
She's not
and I
here.
don't see her. She's not on Zoom.
okay.
Okay, and then I have Michael Dalton has signed up to speak.
Okay,
Interesting.
I signed up because Suzanne wanted me to say a few words. I just want to I just want to say congratulations to our first ever elected by the people woman mayor, Hillary LaBarre. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's like history right there. I know we appointed you, but the people spoke loud and clear and elected you. And I think that just stands for the job that you were doing as the appointed mayor.
thank you.
I also want to say welcome to all these beautiful faces. We got a pretty council up there. We still got a pretty council. Everybody's good looking up there. Little models. I wanted to say that to the police. Oh, they're still here. The police chief's still here. The other guy's not here. Is he over there? He's right there.
It's out in the hall.
Oh, well, have him come in because we didn't get to speak for him and he's leaving. And this is just as a citizen want to speak for the police chief that was here. I never had the opportunity to meet the interim police chief. And I want to say that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I also want to say that I have had the opportunity to interact with multiple officers through multiple police chiefs while they were here. And I can tell you that in this last few weeks, I've interacted with multiple police officers in the last few weeks. All of them have been above and beyond respectful, above and beyond. And that wasn't the case just a few years ago. I just want you guys to know that I stood here and said things about the guy who used to sit there. And I can tell you that the officers that are working today are not the same officers that were working under that leadership. And I just speak as a citizen. So thank you for the attitude that the officers and the things that have changed there in the time you were here, because you had a mess. You still have some work to do, but you had a freaking mess. You should really thank this guy because he cleaned up, vacuumed up, did a lot of work. Yeah. So, and then to all the new council members, it's not about a mess. It's about what's going to happen next, right? Kelly Case, you'll still be sitting here in the year 2026.
Wow.
That's like future shit. And we got a lot to do. We have a lot to do in this city. The city sits empty in the middle of town. And we talked about this 4 years ago. And we talked about this 4 years ago before that. And we talked about this 4 years ago before that. And 2026 will be here soon. So the downtown development would be awesome to have. It'd be really awesome to have. So I know that y'all have been working on that, but it still needs work.
Stay tuned.
All right. And what else was I going to say? I had a few other things to say.
I don't know, but your dog's running out of patience.
What are you talking about?
I'm
This
just
dog's
kidding.
doing excellent. Doing right what it's supposed to do. Suzanne, you ran a great election. 100%. You returned phone calls, emails. Even when someone stole my ballot, I was able to come find it. I'm sorry, I got put on the record. I did not change my address and it came here and they found me and I was able to get my ballot. But thank you for running an awesome election. And hopefully I don't have to come back here anytime soon because y'all are doing such a great job. Oh yeah, and by the way, COVID's over. So like people on Zoom that are watching right here, you should come down here and support your city council and sit in these seats and bring your concerns directly right here. It's a lot more fun when you're up here, but they should put public comment first when we got a full crowd. Other than that, thank you guys. I'm excited for the next 4 years and the next 2 years for mayor, but I do have a sidewalk project I want to talk to y'all about, but I'll talk to planning. So thank you guys. We'll see you.
Thank you, Michael.
Suzanne, anyone else?
No, ma'am.
All right, very good. We are off to unfinished business. We have none. Ordinances on initial postings, none. Public hearings. We have 9A, approval of ordinance 1421. And we have our finance director, Aaron, presenting.
All right, good evening. You guys hear me? Yep, there we go. I have on second reading tonight ordinance 1421, which is the amendment to the 2022 budget expenditure appropriations, a budget supplemental ordinance. We have three items on this supplemental. We have a pooled dollar for targeted wage increases, which was approved in the 2022 annual budget market compensation study to ensure the city does not fall behind other jurisdictions competing for the same employees. In addition to the market compensation study, a $100,000 pool of unassigned funds was approved by the council, but was not reflected in the budget. We have an asbestos mitigation abatement for the Midland Terminal Building for $5,000, which was a donation from the Newmont Gold Mine. And we have $40,000 in ARPA money for municipal broadband deployment plan, which also was approved in the 2021 as a supplemental, but needed to be carried over to 2022. That's it.
Okay, council, any questions, comments? No. Oh, Rusty leaned in.
I was going to say, we have a brand new council member. I know David got the chance to do a second, but maybe so he can see his name in writing. He might want to enjoy making
So
his
make
first
a
motion.
Do you want some help with
Want
it?
help with it?
Yep. Okay. I make a motion to approve ordinance 1421, series 2022, to amend 2022 budget expenditure and revenue appropriations, budget supplemental ordinance. A, presenter, finance director.
My second.
Very good.
Thank you. Labar?
Yes.
Oops, excuse me.
Oh,
Public comment.
public comment, that's right. Whew. So we see so many anxious people ready to get up and talk about it. There's- Anyone on Zoom, Suzanne?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay. Labar,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Zulawaga,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Very good. 10, new business, none. We're off to reports. This might be a record for us. So. Okay. And I don't have anything for the evening other than thank you very much, citizens of Woodland Park. And thank you to my current council members and my new council members. So looking forward to the next 2 years with you. Councilmember Case.
Yes, ma'am. I'd just like to say thank you to the Woodland Park citizens for their support and looking forward to another 4-year service to this wonderful community. And I'd like to welcome David and Frank to the dais with us
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
Councilmember Connors.
That's excellent. It is. I don't know what to say. It's an incredible thing. I appreciate the city of Woodland Park, my neighbors, my friends, my new friends. I plan on working very hard and we're going to make this city greater than it is, although it is a pretty great city already. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Nakai.
I don't have anything other than to do the same as everybody else, which is thank the citizens of Woodland Park.
Councilmember Neal.
I do have 2 liaison reports.
Very good.
Yay, we've had a busy first week. Okay, the first one is the Historical Preservation Committee. We met on Monday, April 4th, 2022 at 3:30. The order of business, we had an election of officers. It was that time of the year again. I'm pleased to announce the standing chair was reelected, Lori Gloss. And the standing vice chair was reelected, Larry Black. There were a couple pieces of information that came out, the interpretive panels for the Cog Railway. What the citizens are not aware, the historical preservation is developing panels to help us understand the history. The fabrication of the panels that will be placed by the COG car have been completed. We did run into a small glitch on the installation phase. It turned out they were fabricated 2 inches shorter than what the American Disability Act requires. So we actually have to go back and add a concrete footer to raise it up 2 inches. It sounds silly, but it's just when the planning director did the actual measurements and investigation, it came up 2 inches, and we want to comply. Because we have a outstanding project on the Woodland Station property, we're going kind of slow in getting it, because once we put the concrete footers in, it's going to be expensive to break it up and move it. So we're wanting to see how the COG car is incorporated into the development plan, which is why we're trying to get the project that Mr. Williams has ongoing laid out for us. So we see how they envision it with his development, and then we can put the interpretive panels in. And last is, I would like to announce that there is an upcoming event. It occurs once every 3 years. It's the Mary Green Pine Tour. I had not heard of this because the last time it was held, was not living here, but that is going to take place on July 16th and 17th. And what it is, it's a tour of the home of the Cusacks. And I didn't know who the Cusacks were, but he was considered the billboard king from Chicago. It's a mansion that he built right down on 24, that he opens his house up for people. Well, the family opens it up to a tour. It's got a lot of incredible artwork, all crafted in Chicago and trained out when it was originally built. But the tickets will be going on sale on May 16th. They're approximately $30 per person, and that's to cover the bus that would pick up those on the tour at the UPass Elementary School and then taking them down and conduct the tour. They don't have parking for everybody to drive down. So it's got to be done by a bus, and the $30 is to defray the cost of the charter bus. So that is part of my report on the Historical Preservation Committee. We did have a second event that I am the liaison, the DDA board, which met on Tuesday, April 5th at 7:30. We did meet at the UPass Cultural Center because we had the election taking place here. The Woodland Station update that was scheduled, there was no presentation. There was a request for an extension to the executive agreement, and that has been deferred to the next meeting, which is the first Tuesday in May. There was a little bit of a lively discussion about recusals. I'm not going to go into that. I'm on the record on a position regarding recusals of board members. If you want to see it, you can pull down the memo, and you will find that I think it was inappropriate for the developer to ask for a board member himself to be recused. So that was stated. Tony Perry from Park State Bank, who is a board member, has volunteered to do some scanning of some boxes of documents that have been stored in Iron Mountain. The DDA board continued with the approval of that process, and Tony Perry in the back of the room will be scanning using his equipment and the city software so that the citizens will have a better visibility, transparency of the history of the DDA. The previous treasurer did a good job of scanning about half the boxes and getting them into the records, but it was discovered that there was another 14 boxes worth of records that were in storage and nobody had access. So that documentation on the history from the beginning of the DDA, which is approximately 20 years, will be available to the citizens. And that's, I think, a very good thing. There was an updated financial report with some additional budgetary items. And I'm looking at Kelly, she was at the meeting, so I don't forget anything that will be coming as a supplemental to the city council for a vote. And Michael Lawson had an excellent presentation on enterprise zones in the downtown Colorado organization. I'm not going to steal his thunder because we are trying to coordinate between the city and the DDA. It will actually not be a DDA event. It will be a city event. The chamber will be involved where we are going to have a formal presentation inviting all business owners to come and learn about some new tax incentives that are available to the businesses. So it's a way of supporting our business, and the DDA is going to be kind of facilitating that with the city and the chamber. And hopefully this gets out to all the businesses. There's some tax money available, and it's going to be a very informative presentation. Thank you, Michael, for bringing that forward. And I think that's good for this very long council liaison report.
Very good.
Rusty, I have two questions for you.
Yes.
I don't know if the questions is to you or to your new secretary or to Suzanne. What's the protocols now that DDA used to have their own website? They used to post all of their own documents. They used to post the meetings. Where are they posted now? And how is that? It seems like that seems to be
Do you want to
lost.
go ahead and cover it?
You can answer.
Well, we do have now a place on the city's website
Yes.
where the DDA can actually post all of those documents, and the links are there where they can go in for doing the searches on the documents as we scan them and add them to the city website.
So they used to send out an email notice to folks interested in DDA. Is that still possible?
Yes, the individuals have to sign up for that email.
And they can.
And so it's the same exact thing. They're part of Civic Clerk. So as the citizens get the council agendas, the council meeting minutes, it's the same thing. There's a section for DDA. If the citizens want those meeting notices and that type of thing, they need to sign up for that, and then they'll get
it
a pop-up
automatically.
every time it's posted.
Okay.
And there was some confusion because the DDA.org website was out there. I actually tracked down who the admin was that had the root credentials so we could terminate it. It turned out to be Noel Sawyer, and he went ahead and brought that down. So there would no longer be, anybody doing a search for Woodland Park DDA, only one place would come up, and it's the authoritative city website now.
All right, great.
Councilmember High.
Just like to say thank you to the citizens, and I don't have any other report than that. Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Zulaga.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to all of you who were reelected and those of you who were elected. Well done. And as far as the PPACG, we're really working through legislative stuff right now. There's a lot of bills coming through in Denver, and we review them to see which ones are applicable to our area, our region, which ones are going to affect the elderly, which ones are going to affect transportation, which ones are going to affect our area. So that process, we really only have an influence to say if we're seriously concerned about it, we want to have a place at the table. And PPACG is developing a good rapport with the legislators to listen to us. So we're pretty selective about what we bring. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, but before we move on to city attorney really quick, we do have, since we have new council members, we do have the board positions. We didn't discuss those tonight, but Suzanne has given a list to the new council members, and what we can do is put it on the next agenda, and then we can all have a discussion about it. And we just need to find some slots for our new council members. So we'll go ahead and talk about that next council and get that taken care of. So.
And I think we'll look at all of them.
Yeah.
And have that discussion as far as all the committees.
So,
Thank you, Mayor.
sure. Okay, city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. All I want to say is, in my career, I've looked at a lot of municipal elections. And I want to echo what was said earlier about Suzanne. I mean, she did a great job. And it is not always easy. And she is, we have a very good clerk here and we're real lucky. So that's my report. I'm sorry, I don't have a joke this time, council members at log. I'll redeem myself at the next meeting.
So does that mean, are we relegated to a dad joke then?
It's going to come from this guy if it does.
See, I don't get that because Jeff told me a joke and I'm sure it was not reflective on this council whatsoever. So don't take it that way. But what's the problem with most political jokes? They get elected.
That came from you, Jeff. Well done.
He didn't tell me
Well
that.
done, Jeff.
Too soon. No, fair. Jeff didn't tell me that.
Good job, Mike.
When is your paycheck?
All right. I too would like to welcome the new members to the council. We're excited to have you and congratulations to the returning mayor and the returning council members. We look forward to doing more good and just making this an even better place to live. So, and I would also just to build on Councilmember Neal's comments a little bit. We presented on enterprise zones. Enterprise zone has actually been around for quite a while. It's a state program. It's an income tax credit program for businesses. And Woodland Park is part of one of 16 regions throughout the state where businesses can collect income tax credits of differing amounts, basically just for doing what you do in a lot of cases, growing your business and expanding what you do. So it's going to be an exciting program we put together working with DDA with Tony Perry and then Deb Miller from the chamber. We're going to put together an after hours event so that folks can finish business for the day, hopefully, and come and learn about this program. We're hopefully in the next month or two, we'll have something like that. So Chief Deisler, we have Chief, he wanted to offer a few clarifying comments on something. A few.
Thank you, Mr.
clarifying
Manager, and I'll
comments.
offer you a ride home if you need one after the meeting. Very quickly, everybody, since I'm kind of the new guy, I just want to get on record and clarify just one thing that I think is important, regardless of who was listening to the meeting the night that you all did my confirmation from the Zoom meeting when I was back in Florida. The conversation surrounded itself on the ordinance that you all had on the books regarding the concealed carry of firearms in establishments where alcohol is sold. You may remember that you just recently took action on that. As council member Nakai and I spoke about that, and there was a comment made that, yes, I would enforce the ordinance if it was on the books. What I think is important to you is to understand what my methodology is that I don't get paid to pick and choose what ordinances I enforce, which ones I don't, which ones I like or don't like. They're yours, and I will enforce them fairly and equitably across the board as I will with any state statute or otherwise. We are in the business of providing services across the board fairly and equitably, regardless of affiliation, and that is just a hard stop for me. So I don't dabble in sides. I don't dabble in the realms outside of the wheelhouse that I have, and that's the one I steer. So I just want to make sure that you all understand, and those of the public who may be listening from afar, that's simply the reason why I said I would enforce the ordinance, is because it's on the books, and I don't get the ability to just pick and choose. So I hope that clarifies what my stance is as your chief and what my directives will be to our officers going forward, but that's all I want. So if there's any questions for me, I'm here. Otherwise, I'll make a graceful exit.
Very good.
You bet.
Thank you for that position. It makes it easier for citizens and Rusty Neal to understand where we all stand. Thank you.
And I'll say, sorry, I didn't go into more detail for you, but
And so Suzanne, did you have anything additional on the boards and commissions?
Nope. Oh, yeah, I sort of jumped the gun on that.
No,
for you.
that's
Sorry.
quite all right.
Okay.
It's quite all right.
And then just two last quick things. Everyone else has said it, so I'm just going to say it again. Thank you to Suzanne. We don't have a great clerk. We have the best clerk.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
that's not exaggeration.
Suzanne had so many curveballs thrown at her and she kept her cool and she's amazing. I also want to thank our election judges. Shirley Douthit is one of my new favorite people. No joking. She did a great job, and just the enthusiasm and the professionalism of the judges was fantastic. Thank you, Terry. And if I'm missing anybody else here today, but great job. They were in here working in the dark with a floodlight and they were still smiling. Just great. Thank you to Grace and Amy and Aaron and Rob and the rest of the folks too. And finally, thank you again to Grace for just crushing Citizens Academy once again. So. We have a tremendous staff in this city. I've worked for a number of cities. I've witnessed a lot of cities in my life, city government, and we have the finest staff that I've seen, pound for pound, no doubt. So thank you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.